Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Saturday. What it do? We got video gaming news for February 17th, and then it'll be a day 2 of Stardew Valley, man, with our buddy Tinwin and Ferret and True, man. Everybody hopping in for some of the Stardew Valley gameplay, man. So that's what's on the agenda for today. I will be finishing up by about lunchtime today. We've got some one of my kiddos has some stuff going on today that we need to attend, so it'll only be about a 6-hour stream. We'll make the most of it, though. You know how we do. So be prepared for the fact that we won't go as long as we normally do. That'll happen on the weekend sometimes. You guys know. So we'll get as much in as we can today, but be prepared for the lunchtime shutdown today. On that note, man, let's do what we do. Let's dive in here. Let's get into video gaming news for today, and then more Stardew Valley. Let's go. Let's do it. Oh no, dude. Oh, this is not the news I wanted this morning. Could we please get anybody other than Respawn to work on Star Wars games moving forward? They are terrible at releasing games. Pretty gross. I'm finished with Respawn. They can do Apex, they can stick with Titanfall, you know, but their Jedi games are trash, always baiting people to buy them on release, and they're total just unfinished, baited projects. I think their content's probably solid, but they don't deserve people to be buying these games on release. We already know they've greenlit the 3rd one, and now Respawn is also developing a first-person Star Wars game that people will buy, and it'll be unfinished on release. Almost definitely. So, we'll pull that up. Good stuff. Jesus. And it says Mandalorian on it, which means people will definitely buy it. How you doing, buddy? How's life, man? How you feeling? How was your week, bud? You getting over that injury finally? What? Sources are now saying the next Nintendo hardware won't launch until next year. What? Uh-oh. Good-ish. It was not great. Feeling a bit better. Not a great week. Dude, I'm sorry. That sucks to hear. Are you working today, too? I know how you do it, dude. Are you working today, too? God, this is disgusting to see. Jesus. Good old Respawn and their puppeteer EA, you know? Pulling those flipping strings, dude. God dang it. I've actually been saying for a long time that Xbox would do well with a handheld, but we'll see what happens. Not today. It's a long weekend. Let's go, dude. Yeah. Nice. Enjoy that, dude. You just got a nice relaxing weekend, dude, playing video games. PC gamers spent $1 billion on the Epic Games Store in 2023. Now, what's important about this number is if you remember here recently, Epic laid off roughly 850 to 900 people, saying that their business is still not profitable. That the Epic store is still not profitable. Their Epic platform is not profitable. Yeah. Okay. So what's not lining up here? You know what I mean? Dude, $1 billion is not just pocket change. You know, I understand that it's a big company incurring a lot of expenses and everything too, but this is what tells you that this company and many companies like it are involved in very, very poor business decisions and are taking it out on their employees as a result. Oh yeah, what are you playing, dude? Let's pull this up. World of Final Fantasy. Cool, man. Let's go. Are you hyped for Rebirth, dude? Thinking about switching? Okay. Word. Yeah. To what? Yeah, we already know this. We talked about this. I've got a lot of people that put an article up like the day before the Xbox showcase. I put an article up all about, you know, because there were rumors flying around about Starfield being one of the games, and we covered one of those articles, and I put that article as a separate VOD on YouTube, and people are like, this is, you know, how does it feel to be lied to, and like, this is misinformation and stuff. I'm like, come on, man. Like, this was something that we were all being told before that showcase happened, so I had to change the title of it and stuff. Oh, you're going through Remake right now? Rebirth could play the demo. Yeah, Rebirth looks really good too, yeah. I'm waiting for all of that stuff to hit PC, and I'm just going to play them all consecutively, dude. Once all three are out and they all hit PC, I'm going to slam into all of them, dude. Heck yeah. Rebirth looks really good, dude. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it looks really dope. Yup. For sure. Honest to God, like, Remake is the closest thing that's gotten me to buy into modern PlayStation consoles by far. I was able to hold off, but the Final Fantasy VII Remake and stuff that's been the only thing that's really gotten me close to buying back into PlayStation as a console. I didn't do it, but you know, it just the hype alone off of that, because I'm a big Final Fantasy VII fan, you know. So yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise that Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be $70, right? I am really, really excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. I played the first one. I put 130 hours into it. It was a fantastic game. I'm really excited for the second one. It looks great as well. And Capcom is now considering a video game price review. So I've seen this coming. I've been telling people about this. I've had articles on our YouTube page, such as this one, which was back in September of last year, the end of September. This was talking about Capcom's president being vocal about the fact that they were not satisfied with the $70 price tag of AAA games, and they felt the need to increase even above that, which feels disgusting. This was on the heels of them releasing Exo Primal, right? Exo Primal, that was I played it. It was I didn't buy it. I played it on subscription service, which if you played it on subscription service, that's what I was advising people to do. But it was a game that was AAA price tagged. It was a game that definitely felt like they got the gameplay good enough, but it was very repetitive. It was felt weird in the way that they wanted you to like continue to play to kind of unlock different game modes and stuff that ultimately still didn't feel real refreshing. And it was just a big play for monetization. The game was riddled with monetization, and it felt really gross. It felt like a game that should have been free to play, and then had with that much monetization, it felt like it should have been a free to play game. But it wasn't. It was a AAA price tag game unless you were playing it on subscription service. And then on the heels of that, the CEO in that VOD that I linked was talking about needing to raise the price tag of games, you know, and it's just kind of a gross look. And so we've seen this coming, not real surprised. And they're not the only company saying this, right? It's a weird look in the industry right now. So you're talking about these companies being very adamant about needing to make more money, you know, raise the retail price of games. Gaming's already very expensive for us all the way around, most of us anyways. And then you look at what is happening in the industry, right, where it's just getting crushed. You look at Embracer and Epic and, you know, Microsoft, and I mean virtually all the companies are just laying off people. And it's not just because of, you know, higher bloat from the pandemic and stuff. You know, it's not. I mean, we've seen the identifiers. That's not the issue behind it. So there's this whole let's make more with less, and let's also raise the prices, where, you know, we're not getting more content, we're not getting better content necessarily, and they want to raise the price and continue to lay off people. It's a weird look, you know. It's a weird look. It's concerning. I know it's not just me. There are a lot of other industry enthusiasts and specialists that see this as a very concerning thing. And you know, this is one of the reasons that for such a long time now, I mean, ever since virtually I started streaming, I try to sell good priced content, free content to the greatest extent possible. It's already an expensive industry, and it's only going to get worse. This is going to be part of it. Yep. We'll talk more about it. Recently downloaded Starrel. Looks really good. I played a little bit of it off stream. Played a little bit. It was just too for me. It was a little bit monotonous as far as like how much run, you know, it was just constantly going back and forth between like doing these quests and stuff. Is just a lot of running around, and I don't know, I guess for what I was looking for in a game like that, because I wasn't trying to dive into the story or anything either. If you're looking for story and you're looking for immersion, it'll probably be a decent experience. For me, in a game like that, I wasn't looking for anything like that. I wasn't streaming it. I was just looking for something to kind of chill out, kill some time, see what it was going to be like. And it felt cumbersome in a way, but I can understand why people like it too. Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I don't know how much pay to win there was in that game. I mean, it's a gacha game. So gacha games can be considered pay to win because I look at those more like just gambling. You know what I mean? But it is in essence pay to win as well, right? Because the more you gamble, the more chance you have to potentially be boosting your arsenal of equipment or characters and stuff. So yeah, I've played those kinds of games. Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, in essence, it is pay to win. It is, but it's got like its own niche little kind of like side area. You know what I mean? It's not. It's like a branch of pay to win, if you will. I've played gacha games for a long time, and I don't play them in a way in which I've normally spent money on them and stuff. I play them in a way to I've tried a lot of them. I just because I'm a gaming enthusiast and stuff, and I like to stay up to date with the different ways in which games are being implemented and the text being used and software is being developed and brought to us, right? So I'll try games here and there on my phone and stuff. I don't take a lot of time. I'll spend a little bit of time here and there trying different games out just to stay up to date with what's happening, and but I don't deep dive into I don't spend years in a game or anything like that. It's just because of the way my mind works and the way I like to be current on the industry and stuff. And one of my big things I'm always interested in is like how well the game works for more free to play kind of players, and again, if you've got how my mind works, right? If and the way I approach these kinds of software, these kinds of games, is if you're invested in it long term and you're getting a lot of entertainment out of it, then by all means, support the developers because they're bringing you entertainment, and it's appropriate to do that from time to time. If you're getting a large amount of time out of the game and entertainment, then it's appropriate to consider giving back, right? But it's always one of the things that's interests me is how can free-to-play players get what they need to maybe compete at a decent level in those kinds of games? I'm always interested in that. So Dragon's Dogma 2 on PS has a 106 for special edition, 94 for standard. Special editions only $12 more. Check this. I thought it was like 30, man, US. 70. Oh, you're right, bro. It is only like $10 more. That's interesting. What's in the deluxe edition though? No, that's not what I wanted. Does it not say? Pre-order bonus. Oh, there we go. Deluxe edition pre-order bonus. A Ring of Assurance. Deluxe edition. Base game add-on, a Boon for Adventurers new journey pack. You get Explorer's Camping Kit, Dragon's Dogma Music and Sound Collection, Harpy Snare Smoke Beacons, Heartfelt Pendant, Ambivalent Rift Incense, Makeshift Gowl Key, Art of Metamorphosis Character Editor, Wakestone Restore the Dead to Life, and 1,500 Rift Crystals. I don't even know what that means, most of it anyways. I'm sure it'll make more sense after the game comes out and you play it and what those items actually mean. But that's interesting. What I will say is if anybody's interested in playing this game, I'll let me recommend something to people. If you're interested in playing a game that's going to be releasing on like PC, right? There are a couple of sites that can usually for the retail, you can get some deals like Green Man Gaming. If you look, it's got to be on here, dude. Dragon's Dogma, come on, there it is. So Dragon's Dogma 2, right? Bro, 6, 9, 69. Kappa. Bro. So if you look like the on PC, the standard edition, and this is going to be a Steam key, or is this even releasing on Epic? I don't think so. Is it? I can't remember. No, this is Steam key right here. You can see though. It says Steam key. The standard edition. See how on Steam, if you buy it on Steam, it's $69.99. But if you pre-order this on Green Man Gaming, you get 18% off. So it's $57.39, right? And then the deluxe edition is actually just $65 compared to the $80 you would usually pay. So that's Green Man Gaming. Fanatical's very similar, man. Fanatical will do like the same kind of thing. And Fanatical, I think, actually does... One of these sites does both Epic and Steam keys. I can't remember which one. But, where's Dragon's Dogma at, man? There it is. No, don't do that, dude. So you can see the standard edition for Dragon's Dogma right here. Same thing. It's actually at $57.39 instead of $70 for the base edition. Deluxe edition, $65.59 instead of $80, right? So, both of these are legitimate sites. I've used both of them many times. They are legit. And anytime a brand new game comes out, if you're planning on buying it pre-order or on release, quite often it will be on these sites, especially big name games. And you can get them for quite a bit of a discount, almost 20% quite often. So don't forget that. Pokemon Day 2024 on the horizon. Nobody cares about Pokemon anymore, right? It's all about the pals. Pokemon are dead. Bro. Choosing violence this morning, I guess. This is so gross, dude. Bro, where is Soup at, dude? Where's Soup at? ESRB is rated Stellar Blade M for jiggling breasts and impalement. Oh, God. Oh, yo, let's pull up Skull and Bones Metacritic. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Yo, 11 critic reviews so far. We've got a 64, bro. I'm sorry. Look, I always want every game to be good. It's not the reality we live in, dude. It's just not. It is not. It's not. And this is a small data size here, right? We need a lot more reviews to get a real, a better understanding of maybe what this game has to offer. But early look here is not great. Early look's not great, and I didn't expect it to be. I did not expect this game to be very good. Mediocre at best, and it's it's just another one. I mean, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. It's not like I'm unique in this notion of seeing Skull and Bones and going, yeah, you know, looking at all the identifiers of how tumultuous of a process, a development process this has had, and the project's just been riddled with so much faults and so many faults and so much disorganization and so many delays, and there've been so many identifiers for how bad this game was potentially going to be. It took 11 years. It took them 11 years to get this game out. 11 years. And we're not talking about something like Grand Theft Auto 6 where you're a bit more understanding of a game, you know, that's going to take more time to release, right? A game that's going to need special care and a lot of development, right? You're talking about not something necessarily of that caliber, of that magnitude. And this is about what I expected. I've got articles up about it. The funny thing is, the most recent thing we covered was the CEO of Ubi, right? Is it Yves Guillemot? Defending the $70 price tag of this game as a service, referring to it as a quadruple A game. You can see the link in chat. I might make this into a VOD as well and put it on YouTube, and I'll try to put that as a link that you'll be able to click on right here in the video as well, but or in the VOD. But I mean, quadruple A, yeah, quadruple A. I mean, come on, buddy, quadruple A game, getting a 64. Give me a break, dude. You don't know anything about what makes a good video game, you know. Sorry, but it's quite obvious at Ubi that the guys running that business don't know what makes a good video game. Dude, they came out with a decent one here recently. The team that was behind at Ubi, that was behind revamping Prince of Persia and bringing it back into modern gaming, I think they did a really good job there. I think I haven't played it yet, but I think that was a very smart play. I think they did a great job, everything that I've seen of it, and it's something that is right in my wheelhouse, so I might end up playing it at some point. I wish it would have been a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, but, you know, credit where credit is due. Most of the things they come out with at Ubi anymore are mediocre at best, you know. They don't do fantastic stuff most of the time anymore, as far as I'm concerned. And this is just another example. So it's always funny when you see a game like this with such a just lengthy, issue-riddled development process being brought into the fold, and then you have the CEO defending the $70 price tag of a game that's riddled with monetization as well, going, "This is a quadruple A game." Bro, thanks for that chuckle, dude, but give me a break, man. Jesus. We've talked about this already. It is Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, and Grounded, coming to rival consoles, Switch, Nintendo Switch, and Sony PlayStation. Those 4 titles. I don't know which titles are going to which platforms. Some could potentially be going to both. Some only to maybe Nintendo. Some only to PlayStation. We'll see what happens. But those are the 4. We already talked about this. We've talked about this many of times. Embracer. Woo, gross. Yeah, we've got some stuff up about the new Nintendo hardware potentially being kind of pushed back or you know, dates being leaked that are further back than what we expected. Interesting. Bro, I mean, I was straight up. Tifa from Final Fantasy VII was like I mean, you know, I didn't ever really like goo over like a video game character or anything, but I mean, I will not deny. Yeah, I will. You know, whenever I played the original Final Fantasy VII, the cutscenes were cutting edge, if you will. They were phenomenal. The cutscenes in that game that weren't poly cutscenes, the cutscenes that were legit cinematic, were wow, mind blowing at the time. And the ones with Tifa had some jiggle physics, and it was pretty impressive. You know, so if there ever was going to be a crush for me from a video game, you know, it was Tifa from Final Fantasy whenever I was a kid, dude, no doubt about it. You know. Bro, yo, we've talked about Immortals of Avium from pre-release to, you know, the release, the you know, even here recently we've talked about Immortals of Avium a little bit, about how there was an article we read recently where even a lot of the developers were like, this was not a real smart game to be made, you know, that were part of its development team. And now you've got UK supermarket selling Immortals of Avium for £1, you know, clear stock. I'll pull it up in case anybody's interested. It's, you know, it's going to be a forgettable experience. You might get enough entertainment out of it. It's not going to be something brutally bad, but it's just not going to be something real memorable, I don't think, either. We talked about that already. Yeah, survival horror games are turning into action games. This is, a lot of people are really scared about what Bloober is doing with Silent Hill. Yeah, I was always worried about Bloober being in charge of Silent Hill. Well, not always, but especially since I played Layers of Fear this past October, this past Scaretober for us. I was going to play Layers of Fear 1 and 2, and I played the first one. I was like, there's no way I'm playing the second one. It was terrible. The first one was so bad. It wasn't scary at all. It was very boring. And I was like, oh man, they're making Silent Hill? This is who Konami got to make Silent Hill? Oh, Jesus. You know, I was hopeful that the thing that they had going for them is the fact that this game already has the plot, the narrative, and everything laid out, right? So hopefully that would make this fairly seamless for them. But it doesn't mean it's a you know, a given either. And they're after the trailer dropped, we've even, the thing that's weird, we touched on an article the other day where Bloober basically called out Konami after the trailer release and was like, Konami did us dirty and only showed combat, and that's not what this game is. So Bloober is trying to say that they've done something better here than what was shown in the trailer, and Konami they were the ones in charge of cutting all the content that was given to them and marketing it, right, and publishing that trailer and stuff. And the weird look behind that is that, you know, I don't think that Bloober and Konami have collaborated before, and they can't be happy about Bloober calling them out like that either. And so, whatever the case may be, even if Bloober is right, probably the smarter play would have been to keep that in-house between the two companies and hit up Konami and be like, look, you can obviously see that the fan base is not happy about what you've shown. And you have plenty of content here to show that our game is not just combat focused. Yeah, we've done plenty here to incorporate many survival horror elements and aspects to this game other than just the combat. So would you please do both of our companies a favor and get to work on releasing a trailer number 2 that showcases those aspects as something over just what the combat shows, instead of publicly calling them out, which is probably going to be very bad for that relationship. But they did what they did, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they would have done that, but they did it. And I'm worried about Silent Hill 2. I'm worried about it. It's hopefully it'll be good. But I've since, like I said, since last October, I've been worried about what Bloober was going to be bringing to the table. Because, dude, their games are not scary to me anyways. There are plenty of other companies that I think could have probably done a better job with Silent Hill than Bloober, to be honest. Ooh! That's what Bloober, this is the emote for Bloober. Shush your mouths. You know? Oh, what was that, dude? Rando Mopte? Yeah. Ban them, dude. That's right. Yo, good emotes to run off of here. Try to get your free subs, guys. Some PS5 users will not be able to buy major exclusive game releasing soon. What? Let's see what that is. Game Pass just got better for horror fans? Okay. PS1 Classic from 97 will soon be free for PS Plus. We'll find out what that is also. Okay, yo, let's talk about this. So, up through yesterday on the Epic Game Store, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 and Fallout Tactics were going to be free next week on the Epic Game Store. Now look. It's been changed. Weirdly enough. So, they were showing all 3 of these games. Yo, Peter, what up, dude? How you doing, buddy? How's life, man? It's good to see you. It's been changed, man. So those were the games that were slated to be given away next week. It doesn't mean they won't be, I guess, but it's not looking like they are part of this anymore. So I noticed this morning that now Super Meat Boy Forever has taken the place of the Fallout games that were originally slated to be given away starting on February 22nd. So right now you can get Dakar Desert Rally for free all the way up through the 22nd, but it does look like the Fallout games have been replaced with Super Meat Boy Forever. We'll see. We'll try to pay attention and see if there's any info that comes out about why that might have happened. Relaxing before a busy Saturday. Yeah, I got a bit of a busy afternoon and evening myself. We've got some family headed into town. My daughter's got an event going on. So we've got some stuff going on this afternoon and evening. Yeah. Well, I'm good, dude. I'm good. We had a family member pass here recently, so past couple of weekends have been down for me because they were ill, and we went and saw them, and then they passed, and so, you know, outside of that, things have been good. It wasn't necessarily totally, you know, unexpected, but it's never fun. You know, death's never something fun to deal with. You know, it's always something that's a bit heavy and rough. So, but even when it's expected, you know. So, you know, but we're good. Other than that, man, just living my best life, dude, and fortunate, man. Fortunate to be able to be here and see you and see all these other amazing people and do what I love to do, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't totally unexpected. I mean, the family member was older, had lived a pretty nice long life, and it was you know, just one of those things. You know, they got to a point age-wise where health, you know, at that point, you know, for a lot of people, well before that, declines quite a bit, but they had a pretty good long life, you know, and for that you've got to be thankful and grateful, and it's just, you know, it's never easy. It was somebody that was an amazing person, meant a lot to a lot of people, and it's hard to see people that you know love pass on, and see other people that you love struggle with that loss as well. You know, it's never fun watching people hurt because they miss the person that's gone and stuff. So you know, it's just one of those deals, dude. That's life, though. You know what I mean? It's this is just part of it, dude. You know, so I appreciate it, but just gotta kind of, you know, take that stuff in stride and understand how it works. And so we're good, dude. But that's been like one of the dark spots, I think, for us here lately. Other than that, dude, everything's fantastic. You know, spring's coming. It's feeling springy, you know, and it's good to see you, dude. How's everything been for you, man? Bro, I've been saying this since Pal World released. I've got all kinds of videos talking about how Pokemon's just, you know, they should have done what Pal World did a long time ago on many fronts, you know. So this is disgusting. Yeah, we got that up. That's wild. New Fable rumor leaks 2025 release date of reboot. Yeah, me too, dude. Yeah. I'm about that notion, you know. I don't think that, I mean, I fail to believe that whenever, you know, we're done here, we're just done. There's just dark, you know, and that it's over. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't know what's next, but I fail to believe that with who we are and the connections we make and you know, our essence or spirit or whatever, you know what I mean, that these connections we make with friends and family and stuff like that, that there's not something more after where we're able to reconnect and, you know, things like that, you know what I mean? So in not getting into like a religious aspect of it or anything, it doesn't need to go there for me. Just in a general, you know, addressing of it, that's how I feel about it. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know, you know, obviously, but it seems just, to me, it seems natural that there would be something more for us to continue on in some form or fashion, in being reconnected with those people, you know, that we had time with here on Earth, you know. Everybody here's like, dude, I think I've had enough of OA for the It is a trip to think about. Yeah, it can get deep. It can get deep. Everybody's like, man, I'm gonna have to deal with you in the afterlife too. It's like, you bet. Well, I'll haunt the crap out of you guys. No, 3 head. Oh man, God, I wish any other well, not any other company, but I wish a decent company would have had a chance to revamp the NCAA game, college football game, rather than EA, dude. God dang, just so gross, man. Yo, what goes around comes around, I guess, right? All right, Davey. Look, man. There's a. I was actually thinking about playing Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden, right? Here's something that I think everybody needs to understand. So Banisher's actually looks decent, right? This is a weird thing though. So Banishers is doing pretty well. 88% positive of 506 users. This is like a AA type of game, right? But we found something, dude. You know, right around the release of this game, if you notice, this game is developed by Don't Nod, right? And then we found an article here recently talking about how Don't Nod is potentially in some hot water right now with some French unions and stuff over mismanagement of their employees. And so while this game apparently is pretty solid and looks really cool, and I was interested in playing it, and we had some time where we could have played this, I also was very, very concerned about supporting a company that isn't handling their employees appropriately. You know, that is mismanaging and is in this potential situation where they maybe shouldn't receive support, as far as I'm concerned. It's always a weird takeaway. If you watch that video, you'll see what I say in there, and it's a lot of my sentiments are I care about the employees. I want to support the employees, but I don't want to support this company and the management behind it if there's a lot of mismanagement going on here, right? So you know, I think this is something that people need to be aware of. We try to raise awareness about these kinds of things in the industry because we want to, you know, try and cultivate and move forward with, you know, the sentiment of creating a healthier industry all the way around for the employees in the industry, for us as consumers and enthusiasts, you know, whatever the case may be. We want a healthier industry on all fronts. Yeah. And this is something that I think people need to be hyper aware of. If a company is mistreating their employees, we shouldn't be supporting those companies. And so it's it's a weird look. It's hard to address because the company pays those employees, right? But if those employees are not being treated correctly, then there needs to be some kind of repercussions and addressing of the issue so that the company either changes to do better so that people are willing to support them again, show that company that we're not going to give them monetary support until they change their ways, and then potentially we'll change our minds, you know what I mean? Or they fail. You know, it's not okay. We've seen enough of that in this industry where companies have just mistreated employees. There's enough of it that goes on in the world in general. You know, terrible corporations not treating their employees right. I'm not about it. I'm not about it. So just be hyper aware that this is a situation that's going on here. talked about this. Yeah, we already talked about it. You know, that got leaked already. Again, if you don't know what 4 games have been leaked, it is they are Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Grounded. What's the one I'm forgetting? Hi-Fi Rush. Okay, those are the games that have been leaked, not confirmed though. So grain of salt. Those are the ones you can kind of count on to be coming to PS5 and Nintendo as proprietary first-party Xbox games. Yo, let's stick with these articles. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do it, bro. The supermarket selling Immortals of Avium for £1. Yeah. Look, I've been the first thing that was funny to me about this game in general is, even after seeing the trailer, I mean, the trailer was, for me, not something that was real hype worthy personally, but to each their own. One of the next things I saw before this game released was that the creative director behind the game, I think it was, had actually previously worked on Call of Duty games. And I don't remember his name, but was very outspoken and adamant, and was quoted as saying, "Don't call this Magic Call of Duty. This isn't Magic Call of Duty." And I had heard nobody calling this game Magic Call of Duty. So, from that point on, I referred to this game as Magic Call of Duty. Because if you have somebody that is trying to, part of the project, part of the development team, trying to tell you what you should think about this game or what you shouldn't think about this game, it's probably because they're trying to convince you that it either is or isn't what it actually is or isn't, right? Rather than letting people make up their own minds about what this game is, they wanted to try and tell people what they should think, and that's not a good idea. You don't, yeah, you need to check that out. Yeah, so, I mean, I could see it, actually. I could see some aspects of this being Magic Call of Duty. So I just called it Magic Call of Duty forever because it was so funny to me that this person tried to, you know, get ahead of the ball game, as it were, and try and convince people that this wasn't Magic Call of Duty, when there were definitely aspects of what it brought to the table that seemed kind of like that. And it was like, well, if you're going to try to tell people this isn't something before they've even had a chance to determine what it is, then it probably is what you're trying to convince people it isn't, right? And so I don't know, I never expected a lot out of this game, and it didn't do great. It didn't do fantastic. It was a game that I tried to tell people that you probably shouldn't pre-order, you probably shouldn't buy on day one, you should probably wait for reviews, and you'd probably be better off waiting for it to hit, because this was a game that was published by EA, and it would hit EA Play about 6 months to a year after it released, and so you'd probably be better off just playing it on EA Play, which you can play through Game Pass Ultimate, right, if you're really interested. So save a little bit of buyer's remorse there. And you know, it came out and it was consensus reviewed, high 60s, I think. Not very good. What was it? Let's see. Whoa, I can't type. Yeah, 69 Kappa with a user score of 121 user ratings at 6. A 6 out of 10. It's not going to be terrible. It's not like this is a 4 out of 10 or anything, but it's not going to be memorable, you know. really. It'd probably be entertaining enough, maybe, but it's not AAA price tag worthy or anything like that. So, you know, we saw something even here recently about how a lot of people that worked on the game were like, yeah, you know, wasn't the greatest idea for a game, even people that worked on it. But, you know, here now, if you're in the UK, apparently you can get the game for roughly £1 at supermarkets. Immortals of Avium was released in August of 2023, competing against several top-tier titles that effortlessly dominated the charts, but ultimately fell flat and failed to perform. A former developer recently said that it was a mistake to try and release Immortals of Avium when they did, competing with such a dense roster of titles, and reportedly the game cost a whopping $125 million to bring to market. Earlier today, Immortals of Avium was spotted being sold in Asda, a UK-based supermarket, for just £1, as the retailer attempts to clear stock of the game that was stopped dead in its tracks from the moment it launched. Immortal after all. Perfect. Immortals of Avium spoke a good game in early trailers and showcases, but it failed to deliver when it came to walk the walk. Picked up relatively good reviews across the board. I'd say mediocre. A 6 out of 10 is not relatively good. That's fairly mediocre. But couldn't retain any solid player base, falling out of relevance almost as quickly as it had appeared. In a recent post on Reddit, eagle-eyed shoppers in the UK noticed Asda selling the game for a measly £1. Oof. That's all it says. Oof. The user who uploaded the rather blurry image stated that they successfully bought the game, which is now out of stock on the retailer's website, showing a price tag of £0. It was a rough time for the developer of the EA-backed title, Ascendant Studios, as layoffs struck the firm last year due to poor sales and a failure to hit expected targets. Yep. I'll link this. We already covered this, but Immortals of Avium Studio lays off half of its staff. We covered that. Awful idea. We've covered this. You know, it's, you know, I think that you have to understand in this industry, if you're trying to make a AAA-esque game and you're going to be spending that amount of money on the development and it kind of falls flat, your studio's probably in trouble, right? Unless you're a massive studio, right? If you're a subsidiary, you're probably in trouble, especially in today's, you know, like what we've seen happening over the past year and a half in the industry with so many layoffs and stuff like that. You're probably in big trouble. Bigger studios that, you know, we're talking about Xbox, you know, EA, PlayStation, places like that, you know, if they're the ones making the game and they fall flat, then, you know, it's chalked up as a loss. But I mean, how many times have we seen these kinds of games come out with big budgets? I mean, what was the PlayStation one from last year? The started with an E, didn't it? God. Oh, what was the name of it, guys? With the Bengal that talked and it was like kind of cringy. You know? What was the name of that game, dude? Was it in? Not Shrouded. Oh, bro, I'm tripping. Anyway, that game. Maybe it doesn't start with an E. I never can remember the name of that game. Anyways, it came out. It didn't do very good. It was big hype game, and it was a subsidiary of PlayStation 2, and they totally dissolved that studio, right? I mean, it was apparently not the worst game in the world. It had some performance issues on release. It had a delay, I think, or two, and the performance issues definitely hurt the release. I don't think it was the best written game. I don't think the content was fantastic, but man, I wish I could think of the name of that game so we could pull up the Metacritic of it. Man, I'm just totally tripping right now. I can't remember the name of it. But we see it happen all the time is kind of what I'm trying to get at, you know. You know, this is just another tell as old as time right here for the games industry, and especially over what we've seen happen over the past like year to year and a half, you know, couple of years, I guess. Some PS5 users will not be ready to buy major exclusive game releasing soon. Interesting. What are we talking about here? Some PS5 users will not be able to buy a major exclusive game releasing next month. Sony has confirmed that Rise of the Ronin will not be available. Oh, this is the South Korea stuff, right? South Korea, we already read about this. So gamers in South Korea, a part of the world PlayStation is notably connected with at the moment because of Stellar Blade, is being which is being made by South Korean team Shift Up. Yeah, South Korea is not getting it. PlayStation has said it never intended to release the game in South Korea, but it has not said why. Only confirmed as much after speculation began to make the rounds that it had something to do with the fact that 19th century scholar Shuin Yoshida and his student Koguru Katsura are in the game. Yoshida is a controversial figure in South Korea. His inclusion in the game has been criticized in the past by Koreans. Whether this is the reason the game is not being released in South Korea, we don't know. And Sony has not provided a reason either. But, just so you know, Rise of the Ronin is not being released in South Korea. We read about that yesterday. Xbox Game Pass just got better for horror fans. So Game Pass is getting their first notable horror game of the year. What are we talking about here? Sorry, Scorn's not a horror game. The only horror part of Scorn is how terrible that game is. Resident Evil 3, RE3, yeah, remake has been added. Garnered an 84 on Metacritic. How long it'll be available, nobody knows yet. Limited time edition. So if you've been wanting to play RE3, it's on Game Pass, man. PS1 Classic from '97 will soon be free with PS Plus. What is this? Jet Moto 2. Only for PS Plus Premium. If you're not familiar with Jet Moto 2, it is a 1997 racing game from developer Single Track. As the name suggests, it's a sequel to 1996's Jet Moto. Upon release, the game garnered a game rankings score of 70. There's a trailer here for it. Dude, let's watch. Look at this 1997 commercial for Jet Moto 2. These were the hype commercials back in the gaming, dude.
Hey, lady! Come on, hit the gas! You're killing me out here!
Jet Moto 2. More tracks, more control, more speed. Take advantage of it.
And turn off the blinker!
PlayStation.
Nice, dude. Nice. So PS Plus Premium, February 20th. Jet Moto 2. Here we go. Let's talk about some Fable rumors. How about it? Who's hyped for Fable? Let me hinder your expectations. Let me crush your dreams. So new Fable rumor leaks 2025 release date of reboot. The long-awaited new Fable game may still be at least a year away. Let me preface this real quick. I've talked about this before. If you don't know who's making the new Fable game, it's Playground Games. Playground Games literally has only ever done the Xbox Horizon Forza games. They've never really done anything else. And if you go look at the most recent Forza Horizon game, it's pretty balls, of a game that's been, created for such a long time. But they're not the only one, right? They're not the only developer on it, but they are one of them. And to see a developer be a part of a series that they've been doing for such a long time and can't even get it right, what are you supposed to expect out of Fable? Which is a genre they've never done before. So I hope it's good. We should expect the worst. Everybody's going to be hyped about Fable because it's Fable. But you have to understand what's happening here. You know who should have done Fable? Probably Obsidian. Obsidian probably, or that's the company that probably should have done Fable. In my opinion. I think Obsidian would have probably done a flippin' fantastic job at revamping Fable. But instead, Xbox decided to give Fable to Playground Games, a company that has never done a genre like this, a company that can't even get their racing games right. So, hinder your expectations, I would say. And let's read this. A new rumor about the long-awaited new Fable reboot has surfaced online with information about the game's release date on Xbox Series X and S and PC. According to this rumor, the game is going to release in 2025. This is rumor, speculation, grain of salt here. It's not official. It also doesn't say when in 2025. The source is Nate the Hate. Unfortunately, this is a source is a little hit and miss. Recently relayed faulty Xbox information alongside a host of Xbox sources who seemingly got caught out peddling incorrect Xbox information in regards to exclusivity and certain games coming to PS5. To this end, the source at one point claimed Starfield was coming to PS5, which right now Xbox says is not happening. Look, this is what I'd say. I have an article where we read there was leaked information saying Starfield was coming to PS5. I put it up on YouTube. And then later that day, after my article had gone live on YouTube, sure enough, we had the Xbox showcase, and Phil Spencer said, no, Starfield is not one of the first 4 games coming to other platforms. Look, man, I've been trying to tell people this. The things that you have to understand about what Xbox is doing right now in the first place is that they're testing the waters, right? That's why you're getting games like Hi-Fi Rush, you're getting Pentiment, you're getting Sea of Thieves, and what's the one I'm missing? I can't think right now off the top of my head. But, we're not talking about, recent stupid big releases, right? Hi-Fi Rush was a shadow drop game, banger of a game, and they are lucky to be getting that game on other platforms. That game is phenomenal. Doesn't change the fact it was a shadow drop game at a lower price point. Pentiment, $20 game, still made by Obsidian. Grounded's the other one. Grounded's a game that's been out for how long now as well. Still a banger of a game, and they're lucky to be getting it. Grounded's phenomenal. And it's so good, but still, we're not talking about the more recent release AAA titles and stuff, something like Starfield. That doesn't mean Starfield might not be in the second round of games that they release on other platforms, though, right? People are like, oh, well, Starfield's definitely not coming because Phil Spencer said it's not. No, he said it's not one of the first 4 games. People need to chill out and understand that doesn't mean Starfield isn't hitting the other platforms. It just means that it's not going to be in this first round of 4 games. That's it. So they're testing the waters, and Starfield still is potentially going to end up. They want their first-party games on other platforms. It will not work on the Switch, mind you. Starfield will only be coming to PS5 if they put it over on the other platforms. You know what I mean? It will only work on PS5. It won't work on Switch. So understand that. But, you know, this is something that people have to understand about what's happening here with Xbox, the way this is working out. And, you know, moving forward, again, the other thing people need to understand about this notion is Xbox first-party proprietary games will not hit other platforms day one. They will still be first-party games. They will still be using them in a fashion of bringing people into the Xbox platform first and foremost, right? It'll be about the exclusivity for a small period of time on release to bring people into the Xbox platform. Then it will release on other platforms, right? So on that, with that being said here, okay, so I guess they're going to elaborate on that. This doesn't completely discredit the source going forward, as they have been right in the past. But this also wasn't the first time they've been off the mark. They were also off the mark in a major way about the previously rumored Switch Pro. In short, take this information with a grain of salt. Right. Worth noting, this info could be accurate right now, but not remain accurate over time. Target could be a 2025 release date, but that's a huge window, right? We all know how the gaming industry works. 2025 is a massive window. That's 365 days where a delay absolutely could happen, right? And push it back out of that window. So we'll see what happens. But again, I think the biggest thing to take away here about Fable in general is that you've got a developer making this game that has never done a genre like this. And while people are going to be hyped about this because it's Fable, I cannot advise enough how careful you should be about this game. And people want to go, man, the trailer looked so good. The trailer looked like mostly cinematic to me. Straight up. So be very, very careful. Be careful. What up, Soup? What's going on, man? Oh, I've got an article for you, buddy. I've got a couple articles for you, though. We're actually about to hit a couple of them. Look at this, dude. We're getting leaks coming out now. Look at this. Switch 2 will now launch in 2025. We've got a couple of articles up. We'll see what they're saying about that. Also, I got your copium here, dude. Stellar Blade stuff. So we're getting there, dude. We're getting there. No, GTA 6, dude, delayed till 2036. Don't worry about it, buddy. Happy Saturday, man. How are you? Told you? You didn't tell me crap, dude. You don't know? I'm a whopper? Yeah, I'm a whopper. I'll be whopping them. You can't even tell the difference between a 12-year-old girl and a 19-year-old girl, dude. You don't know. Let's get into this. Nuh-uh. Oh, dude. GTA 6 could delay. It could. I don't think it will. It could. I don't think it will, but it could. It could. That's a big window, dude. It's a big window. Just like we were talking about with Fable. It's a big window. Could delay. I don't think it will. But it could. Exclusive Respawn is developing a first-person Star Wars Mandalorian game that will absolutely come out and be riddled and plagued with issues because Respawn sucks. Respawn's grossly terrible at game releases. They release games. Dude, look at the past 2 Star Wars games. Past 2 Star Wars games, gross. Terrible. So bad. But you know what? People buy those games because they say Star Wars on them. You know what? People are going to buy this game because it says Mandalorian Star Wars on it. And it'll still be a hot, broken piece of crap when it comes out. This is the problem in our industry. People buy games from studios that don't deserve to be supported, and you keep getting crap from them. This is what happens. You support bad companies, you keep getting crap. And now we know that Respawn not only has Star Wars, Mandalorian game in the works, but they also have a third Star Wars Jedi game in the works too. After, and look, I think the content in their previous 2 Star Wars games is probably pretty good, but it doesn't excuse the fact they released both those games in a wholly unfinished state, that people had to deal with terrible performance issues on all platforms. Unacceptable. Shouldn't happen. They shouldn't make the amount of money they do off of them. It's unacceptable. Shouldn't happen. Respawn is, I think they did a great job with like Titanfall 2. I think that they do a great job with, Apex Legends. But, dude, they can get wrecked for this flipping, they bait people hard. They release unfinished games. It's unacceptable. They shouldn't be supported. It's gross. Insider gaming sources have revealed that Respawn Entertainment is developing a first-person Star Wars Mandalorian game that is in its early stages of development. According to sources, the game will see the player take control of a Mandalorian bounty hunter set during the time when the Galactic Empire is dominating across the galaxy. It's your job as a bounty hunter to capture bounties dead or alive for cash rewards. The problem being that you probably won't even be able to play the game because it'll be a hot piece of garbage on release. As first reported by VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb, the game was being led by Respawn creative director Mohammed Alavi, who left the studio to pursue his next adventure. According to Grubb, who didn't disclose it was a Star Wars game at the time, but has recently. The game will be focused on mobility and style as guiding principles, but you won't probably understand that because you won't be able to play the game because it'll be unfinished on release. The game's high mobility has been made possible storytelling-wise thanks to the Mandalorian's jetpack, which allows players to perform horizontal dashing, vertical jumping, boost sliding, somewhat similar to sliding down hills in Apex Legends, and more. Sources describe the game as very fast-paced, and as such will reward players who play in the style. For example, players' health will mainly regenerate based on successive kills, which you won't be able to get because the game won't play right on release. As to be expected, playing as a Mandalorian bounty hunter gives the player a wide variety of weapons and gadgets, including a wrist rocket, grapple hook, a visor for tagging enemies and bounties, and more. It's understood the game will not be an open world and have linear levels taking place on a variety of different planets in the Star Wars universe. While it's unclear when the game will be released, it's said that we're still a year or two away at the very least. Currently unclear if the game will have a multiplayer experience or not. Be prepared for the suck. Embrace for the suck, guys. That's what I would say. I think that Respawn has definitely made a name for themselves on baiting people into buying games that are unfinished because they say Star Wars on them, which sucks. They'll continue to do it until people quit supporting it. So it's disgusting to see. It's disgusting to watch. You gotta love it being under EA as well. Real good stuff. So there you go. Let's see what's going on here with Star Wars. Star Wars Switch, excuse me. The new Nintendo console that's supposed to be coming. Switch 2 will now launch in 2025. VGC sources suggest Nintendo's next console will arrive later than expected now. Nintendo's next console could launch later than expected in early 2025, it's claimed. That's according to Brazilian journalist Pedro Henrique Ludi Lipe, who claims in a new Aux do Control video that he received the information from 5 separate sources. According to the sources, they are also working on games targeting Q1 of 2025 to launch alongside the console itself, which has internally slipped out of a previous 2024 target. Eurogamer reports it's heard similar whispers from industry sources this week, though has not been able to concretely substantiate them. Nintendo was targeting a launch for its next console in late this year, per development sources. This was later supported by other outlets, yeah. Since publishing the story, VGC has heard from multiple sources who said Nintendo has told publishers its next console will now launch in Q1 of 2025. They've done it before. With the previous console, the Switch, was Q1 of 2017. Q1 of 2017. According to the sources, third-party game companies were recently briefed on an internal delay in Nintendo's next-gen launch timing. So this is, in fact, a delay, right? From late 2024 to early the following year. So, again, I was expecting it, you know, probably autumn, fall timeframe this year, sometime before the holiday period. But because that's what all indicators were pointing to for quite some time now. But it's looking like they have incurred some issues that are prompting a delay for the release of this. One publishing source suggested the delay was so that Nintendo could prepare stronger first-party software for the console. Yeah, possibly the next-gen Nintendo console will now follow a similar timeline to the Switch, which was released, like I said, in March of 2017, but announced the previous year. Yeah, interesting. Huh. So, potentially not an issue with the hardware itself, but Nintendo feeling like they don't have good enough first-party software lined up to be released alongside it yet. Let's see what this says. Could launch it this year and just say it's next year to prevent people from not. Fine system traveling. I don't know. Again, this is, you know, grain of salt stuff too. This is not. I mean, we've been speculating this whole time, right? A lot of what we're getting is leaked information out of like collaborators, partners that are making software for the new hardware, things like that. Because Nintendo doesn't want to talk about it, right? So it's us trying to piece together information to determine when this is going to be coming to the table for us. Yeah. So we're doing the best we can here. And again, until we saw this today, everything that I had been piecing together and had been educating myself on and hearing across the industry and things like that was that we should, you know, in my opinion, been expecting it sometime fall, you know, maybe late summer, but really probably fall, autumn time frame this year. But I can understand why if Nintendo feels like their first-party software for the game is not going to be finished and there's not going to be enough of it to, you know, alongside the hardware. Unacceptable! Why they would want to delay it, you know. Yeah. What up, Ferret? Speculate GTA 2036 release. There's your speculation, dude. What up, Ferret? Let's see if this says anything else. Yeah. Next Zelda game? You mean Ganondorf wins? Yeah, it's just the same thing here. Yeah, I mean, if this is the case, then what we are talking about here is roughly about a 12 to 13 month timeline for the release of the next Nintendo hardware, as opposed to what we were expecting of more like about a 6 to 9 month timeline from now, you know? Make a Ganondorf game and you lose? Yeah, I'd probably just start burning things down. Yeah, this is just gonna be more of the same, so Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I mean, you know, we come across this kind of information quite often. And the thing that I wanted to talk about here, and I talked about when we brought this article up, was you see a number like this, right? PC gamers spent $1 billion on the Epic Game Store in 2023. And then we hear stuff come out of Epic that their platform, the Epic Game Store, is still not profitable, right? If they're generating $1 billion, this is gamers spent. So that doesn't mean that this is necessarily totally revenue or profit, right? Profit, because, you know, they've got contracts for developers to release games on their platform and stuff like that, where the developers get a good chunk of that and stuff. But, you know, there's got to be a large amount of this that is actually just off of Fortnite skins, things of that nature. Yeah. So if PC gamers spent $1 billion on the Epic Game Store, again, we have to understand that that's just what was spent, not necessarily profit. That's a lot of money too, but the platform's still not profitable. And then you see Epic laying off 850 to 900 people at the end of last year. Something's not lining up. And like I've been saying for a long time, I think there's a lot of bad business decisions going on inside a lot of these big companies, and they don't want to be transparent about it, and they want to take it out on their employees instead. You know? So, in a year-in review document published recently, Epic Games outlined the performance of its PC-based storefront through 2023. It was revealed that gamers spent a whopping $950 million on the Epic Game Store over 12 months, with $310 million of that being on third-party PC games on the store. In 2023, Epic Game Store recorded substantial growth in MAUs, rocketing up to 75 million MAUs in December of last year, a year-on-year climb of around 10%. Epic Games' PC storefront is fast becoming the most popular place to buy and play games on the platform. It's rivaling Steam, Valve's legendary launcher, and storefront. That's mostly because of the free games program that Epic Games boasts. In 2023, the Epic Games gave away 86 free games, which were collectively claimed a whopping 586 million times by the community. It was stressed that this equaled a total of $2,055 in totally free content, which is an attractive enough reason to use the app. I promote it all the time. You know, this has been something that I think is a smart play by Epic to get people into their platform. They have a long ways to go. You cannot compare Epic's platform to something like Steam right now. What up, True? How you doing, friendo? Happy Saturday, everybody. When you want to talk about what Steam has, and look, to be fair, Steam's been around for much longer than Epic has, right? But if Epic wants to be something comparable to Steam in any form or fashion, they have certain things that need to be done here, right? They have to get a similar review process incorporated for games. They have something, but it's not nearly as good as what Steam has. They need a profile customization on there for gamers to be able to flex. They need achievements for all their games. There are things they're missing that Steam has that Epic does not. I think Epic is working on a lot of that stuff. They've evolved some of it. There are achievements for some of the games now. It's happening, but it's slow. They need to get a move on. They need to get, if they want to compete with Steam, they've got a lot to do. But the free games, whether or not somebody wants to turn their nose up at those free titles, soup, it's free. And there's a lot of very, very good titles that come out on the Epic Game Store. quite often. Are they always going to be bangers? No, absolutely not. But quite often, there's really good titles to be had. I've got almost 300 titles in my library now, of which I've paid like for 3 of them. And there's a lot of good ones in there. A lot of good ones. It's a smart play by them, but they've got more that needs to be done. At the top of the table for the Epic Games Store in 2023 set the following games: Genshin Impact, Rocket League, Dead Island 2, GTA 5, and Fortnite. Coming in second place were the likes of FIFA 23, Red Dead 2, Alan Wake 2, terrible, Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, looked bad, Hogwarts Legacy. With the numbers out of the way, Epic looked to 2024 and what's coming next for the platform. It was highlighted that a new download manager tool is on the way, and offline mode is getting a significant upgrade. There will be preload features made available for pre-ordered games, and the relaunch of Epic on iOS in Europe after a hiatus that has lasted one heck of a long time. Yeah, I got soft locked and I like it. You know what's funny, dude? I got hard locked. It drives me nuts. I got hard locked at one point in Hi-Fi Rush. That was like one of the only bugs I encountered through my entire play on Hi-Fi Rush, and it's in my montage, and it's actually a hard lock. I got stuck, so it wasn't a soft lock; it was a hard lock. But whenever I'm playing, I say soft lock, and it was actually a hard lock. And it drives me nuts every time I see it. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. But I was just, being dumb at the moment. But yeah, I got soft locked in Alan Wake 2. Yeah, I got soft locked. 36 hours into that game, I got soft locked. Yeah. Yep. Confirmed soft lock. Other people had also gotten it. Yep. Feels great. Feels great. That was just the cherry on top, though. That game was not very good, in my opinion. Yo, good for you, Soup. Nice. Needs to be a beta tester? Yo, all I have to do is pay $30 more for every game that comes out over the original price, and I can just be the final beta tester. You know what I mean? Yo, I would love to be QA. I would love to be QA. Here's the problem. I think most companies would hate me. Most companies would hate me, dude, because I'm very nitpicky, but I think that's what most companies need. I think most companies need somebody that is very, very deliberately picky about finding issues and trying to raise concerns about what a game player would need in a game, right? Quality assurance. It's testing. Quality assurance. Most companies in any form or fashion have quality assurance divisions. Yeah. It's just a method of checking the product, right? That's what QA will be referred to as. Checking the product. So for me, in what I'm usually doing is trying to narrow down issues that I find, as well as like looking for better ways to implement quality of life, things like that. And I try to be very, very deliberate about looking for that kind of stuff in my playthroughs, right? QA is the cousin of OA. That's Quasimodo Antics. It's Quasimodo Antics. The cousin of Outsider Antics, right? Yep. Quality Antics. Yeah, there you go. So I would love to do it, and I would love to help out companies, and I absolutely understand. And anytime I beta test a game, I actually always provide feedback and stuff too, and I try to do it in a very detailed way. My thing is that I always understand that companies aren't going to take everything that you recommend or think should be incorporated in a game or whatever into consideration. It's just not always going to be the case. So I get that. But I think the more feedback that you can provide to a developer that's actually willing to listen is the best way you can go about it, right? And the more that a developer is willing to listen about the things that you see as a game player that should be implemented, the better the game is potentially going to be, because they're actually listening to the feedback that gamers have about what the game is doing right and potentially what it might be doing wrong or might be lacking, you know? I would love to be a QA tester. I really would. Let's see this. After pricing Dragon's Dogma 2 $70, which is not unexpected for a AAA game from a big developer like Capcom, right? Capcom is now considering a video game price review. This is not unexpected either. Like I said, I mean, one of we talked about this towards the end of last year, which is Capcom's president was talking about how they are not satisfied with a $70 price tag on their games. That's the link for the vid right there, the VOD on YouTube that we covered. It's kind of a disgusting look. This was on the heels of them releasing Exo Primal, which honestly, the way that game was developed, the content it had, and how riddled it was with monetization, should have been a free-to-play game, in my opinion. It shouldn't have been a AAA price tag game. Should have been free-to-play. I played it on subscription service, so at least that was an option for people, but it wasn't very good. It was very repetitive. It was a game that they did enough to be able to put a ton of monetization in it, you know. Quality, I like it, dude. So that felt really bad, and on the heels of that, they came out with this quote and statement about the president saying they needed to raise prices above $70. It's a daunting look at not just Capcom, but what a lot of these bigger companies feel like they need to do in the gaming industry to us as consumers. When you know, we talk about a lot, are we getting what we're paying for? I think I'm going to get what I'm paying for in Dragon's Dogma 2 because I'm going to be pre-ordering this. I trust Capcom as a developer. I've said for a while now that I think Capcom is one of the better AAA developers as far as content goes and performance goes, releasing games in a finished state, pretty polished state. I loved Dragon's Dogma 1. I put 130 hours into that game. I think I'll probably get more time out of Dragon's Dogma 2 probably. As I'm expecting it to be probably a little bit deeper of a game. So I think that a AAA price tag for Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be, in my opinion, money well spent for entertainment. But, you know, when you talk about all the way around, what are we getting our money's worth out of AAA games? And right now, you know, over the past year, the gaming industry AAA price tags went up to $70, and we have these games releasing constantly where the main story content's only 15 hours long. Is that worth it? You can kind of usually wring out about an extra 10, maybe 15 hours out of side content. Is that worth it? I think it depends. Everybody's gonna have a different stance on that. But now they're wanting to raise prices even more. Do you think they're going to be bringing you more content? No. They're not going to be bringing you more content. On average, the prices are going to go up and the games are going to stay the same. Quality could even potentially decrease, right? So prices are going to go up. Quality will, at the very least, stay the same. And what the amount of entertainment you're getting out of these games is going to probably stay baseline the same as well. So you know, why should we be paying more? I don't get it. It doesn't compute, man. Right? So I think this is where people have to really take a hard look at what I promote all the time. As you know, what I was talking about just a little bit ago, while I'm not really excited about how Capcom's president has addressed what they're doing, I didn't like what they did with Exoprimal, but I do think they're a better AAA developer in the industry right now as far as content. I trust them for what they're bringing to the table with Dragon's Dogma 2, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So I trust purchasing this game on release or pre-order, you know. But you've got to be hyper aware of who developers are bringing titles to the plate for you. Like I was just talking about with Respawn, they're making a Mandalorian game. Nobody should be buying that on release or pre-order. Nobody should be buying the next Jedi game on release or pre-order. They've baited people twice in a row now on their Jedi games. They were a hot bag of garbage on release. Nobody should be buying their games on release. Are you kidding me? This is, I mean, you know, I promote this all the time. You've got to understand. Are you getting what you're paying for? Do you pay attention to these developers and publishers and what they're bringing to the table for you? Everybody's got to be aware of what you're supporting here and getting yourselves into in this realm of entertainment and this industry that we love, because we only have ourselves to blame for this this bed we're making for ourselves, man. Right? I mean, dude, we're already laying in it. Yeah. And now they want to raise prices again. But for what? I mean, we're not getting anything more out of it as consumers, right? So you've got to be pretty deliberate and critical about the way that I think, you know, you're spending your money and the companies that you're supporting in this fashion about the ever increasing prices of entertainment in the video gaming industry and what you're getting out of it. Yeah. We only have ourselves to blame, and we can only protect ourselves as well from, you know, exacerbating these issues we've gotten ourselves into in the industry, man. So, Dragon's Dogma 2 is the first Capcom game priced at $70, but it sounds like there's more to come. In a financial results conference call Q&A summary, Capcom responded to a question about the company's video price policy that also pointed out $69.99 had become the norm for AAA video games across the industry. Dragon's Dogma 2, which is scheduled for release this fiscal year, will be priced at $70. Capcom replied, industry-wide development costs are rising. We are considering a price review as one option. Ultimately, we intend to take a thoughtful approach in pricing our games while ascertaining user feedback. That very much suggests $70 will become the standard for Capcom video games, as it has become the standard for so many other AAA video game publishers. Seems reasonable to expect Monster Hunter Wilds, due out at some point next year, will also cost $70 or perhaps even more, especially considering that VOD link I posted in chat just a little bit ago about their president saying they want to raise prices even more. News of a potential price review comes as a little surprise given comments made last year by Capcom president Haruhiro Sugimoto. Speaking of the Tokyo Game Show, he said he thought the price of video games were too low. That's exactly that link. Exactly that link. And that increasing the price of video games would be a healthy option for the industry. This is a business person. Again, I think that at $70 for what I'm expecting to get out of Dragon's Dogma 2, for the amount of time and entertainment I'm expecting to get out of this product, I feel confident about this. But these are you know, I can't advocate enough for people to take the time to look at these games that are coming out and go, how much am I paying for this? Can I reliably expect this game to perform well based on the recent historical, you know, showings of what this company has brought to the table on releases, you know, over the past 5 to 10 years, as well as, you know, do I know how much entertainment I'm going to be getting out of this game? And is a AAA price tag, or how much I'm willing to spend on this game, is that worth it? There are definitely some different criteria here that I think everybody as a consumer in this industry has to start taking a really, really hard look at in determining what products we support, what companies we're supporting, and it can be a huge catalyst for changing the way the industry approaches us as consumers and gaming enthusiasts. But it has to start with us. Nobody else protects us in this way. It comes down to us doing it. We have to be the catalyst for it. Development costs are about 100 times higher than during the Famicom era, but software prices have not gone up that much. Sugimoto said, now, there have been many studies done about inflation, the price of games back then versus the price of games now, and you know what all this means and everything. And on the whole, games are actually much more expensive now than they ever were in the past, especially when you take into consideration the initial price tag, the amount of monetization that goes on inside of them, things of that nature. There's also a need to raise wages. Here's the problem. How many of these companies do you actually think are raising the prices of their games and then also giving their employees due compensation? Because I'll tell you something, the more I see prices being raised in the world, the less I see employees being compensated for the products they're making for these companies. I see more employees being released and more employees being made to do more of the work, right? With less help, or they'll make more jobs that are part-time jobs rather than full-time jobs and cut benefits or whatever. So how many of these companies can confirm that the reason they're raising prices is to pay their employees more? The actual employees that are created. Now, I'm not talking about CEOs. I'm not talking about the increasing the flipping fat pockets of the board members and stuff. I'm talking about taking care of your employees. The employees that are actually doing the work here. I feel like it's probably very little. Very little. Because, I mean, most of them are getting fired, it seems like nowadays, right? So, if you can confirm to me that the reason you're actually raising prices in this industry is to ensure that there are going to continue to be jobs, low entry to mid-level jobs in this industry, so that we can continue to evolve and do better and take care of the employees that actually are doing the work here instead of firing all of them, I'll be more accepting of it. But we know that's not the case, right? Whenever prices went up over the past year of AAA retail. Prices went up. And what did we see happen? Companies getting slaughtered. Just eliminating mass amounts of employees. So what makes me think that them raising the price anymore is going to do anything to help the job market in this industry moving forward? The only reason they want to raise the price, as far as I can tell, is to continue to pay their executives, their board members, their CEOs, their COOs, all those people more money. That's it. No, video did not freeze. Considering the fact that wages are rising in the industry as a whole, I think raising unit prices is a healthy option for business, says Capcom's president, who I'm sure would stand to gain quite a bit more money off of this. Barrett, maybe refresh, dude. Sugimoto went on to argue that an economic slump wouldn't prevent people from purchasing pricier games. Just because there's a recession doesn't mean you won't go to the movie theater or go to your favorite artist's concert. High quality games will continue to sell. That's the problem, though. They need to be high quality. All the way around. Rising development costs and increasing development schedules are two of the hottest topics within the video game industry right now. As huge layoffs devastate developers, AAA businesses are seen as under threat with fears of a market crash. This week, Sony boss Hiroki Tataki suggested PlayStation Studios can do more to cut development costs. In its remarks, Capcom echoed those comments, saying, "We see the streamlining of development and enhancement of productivity as priority issues and are continuing to address these on an ongoing basis." Dragon's Dogma will sell a lot of copies. Yeah. I mean, dude, it doesn't compute, man. It doesn't make sense. It's a rough look. You want to, you know, how do we trust any of these flipping people up here at the top of these companies making, you know, most of them 7 figures, big 7 figures, when they're just slaughtering their employee base, you know, and it most of it looks like it's actually because of bad business decisions. But the people that make bad business decisions don't suffer consequences. The low people on the totem pole in the company are the ones that get eliminated. You know, it doesn't make sense. If you know, we can have some kind of confirmation and guarantees that the reason prices are going up is so that we can continue to support the workforce in this industry and make sure that these companies aren't just utilizing AI to replace, you know, replace the employees and things of that nature. You look, man, cool. And make sure that we're getting good, finished, polished, optimized content brought to the table for us. Cool. We know that's not the case, right? We've been getting baited by this kind of crap forever. So these CEOs and these presidents and, you know, all these people can sit up here and talk about how they need to raise the prices and it's for the employees or whatever. You know, they can say it all they want, but we've seen it not be the case for too long to eat that as fact. It's not the case, man. It's disgusting to hear it. Yo, Soup, I got your copium, dog. You guys, yo, this, where's the, where? There's only there, right there. ESRB rates Stellar Blade M for jiggling breasts and impalement. Is the impalement happening because of the jiggling breasts? Sorry, Kappa. Maybe too much there. I don't know, dude. Yo, we knew this game from the get-go was just going to be, it was all sex pill, right? I mean, this game is very, very, you know, from the get-go, it was not fair. Yeah. From the get-go, I saw this game and I was like, Jesus, you know, this is like even more weeby, like Near Automata, dude. It's like it's very, very obvious, you know. It's in the same fashion as a lot of those other games where it's like the more armor class the character has, the less they wear. You know, we've talked about that a lot. I've talked about how Eve, the main character of the game, her name should actually be Cake. It shouldn't be Eve, because if you've seen her run in the trailers and stuff, you know, yeah, exactly. Fair. If you've seen her run in the trailers, she literally runs bent over, and it's just ass, dude. It's just ass in the screen. Like, bro, it's you know, it's very apparent what this is catering to, you know. But it's just service to the ESRB, the Entertainment Software Rating Board, has given Stellar Blade a rating of M for mature. This was expected. The breakdown explaining why that rating has been given contains some key details about the upcoming post-apocalyptic slasher. For instance, it was referenced that the M rating has been applied because Stellar Blade features breasts that jiggle during combat. So here's the thing. If Stellar Blade gets an M, right, for mature, for breasts that jiggle during combat, where's Street Fighter at? Exactly, Ferret. You know what that means? There are companies buying ratings. There are companies buying off ratings. For sure. Dead or Alive, Street Fighter. I mean, dude, look at Street Fighter. We talked about this here recently, right? Street Fighter has been in this dilemma because of all their, the modding of the game. They've been throwing a fit. They've been implementing their own DRM stuff. They don't want people modding anymore because a tournament happened where Chun-Li was nude. But, bro, they've been basically prompting this, sex sells in their games forever. And Street Fighter especially, Yeah, it was funny, Tinwin, I agree. It was funny. But it's not like they haven't been the ones that have been, like, kind of pushing the envelope for that the whole time. They want to blame some, like, a mod creator for making Chun-Li nude. Bro, all of those characters are basically wearing, like, risque clothing and, they're all built like, zero waist, rocking, cake and massive racks and stuff. And, no, it wasn't classy. You're right. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely different body sizes and stuff in that game, but the sex appeal is there, right? And there's definitely jiggle physics, dude. Absolutely. So how is ESRB getting away with, rating a game like this M for mature whenever something like Street Fighter absolutely has jiggle physics and it's a violent fighting game that's rated T for teen, I think? Isn't Street Fighter 6 ESR? Let's pull it up, dude. We've looked at it before. T for teen. T for teen. And look, even on their site, look. The game contains some suggestive material. Female characters designed in revealing outfits. Thongs, deep cleavage, partially exposed buttocks, chest covered by narrow bands. Some characters' breasts jiggle during matches. And it's literally a violent fighting game. But they get a T for teen? And Stellar Blade gets an M? You can't tell me Capcom didn't pay off ESRB or something, dude. What? How? Somebody explain to me how. Also decapitation. This might be it. In the rating published by ESRB recently, it was stressed that Stellar Blade deserves its M for mature rating because it contains close-up images of impalement, dismemberment, and decapitation. That could do it. In keeping with discussions around Stellar Blade that have dominated social platforms, the listing also pointed out the game contains female characters in revealing costumes. Specifically, it was stated that these costumes feature deep cleavage, skin-tight, flesh-toned bodysuits. Unique mention of breasts that jiggle during combat, and a reference to the word SHIT appearing in the game. So Stellar Blade is light on the language, but heavy on the breast physics. Yeah, that's going to be the biggest difference, for sure. But, recently it was revealed that Stellar Blade will have an extensive catalog of clothing items available for the player to unlock and equip. Stated that none of these outfits will be hidden behind paywalls. Each one will be unique. Yeah. So that has to be it. That has to be it. But
it still seems weird when you read the rating summary. You know, you read the rating summary of something like Street Fighter 6. It doesn't seem like it could have been too far away from needing an M for mature. Now, obviously, like something like Mortal Kombat, right? Mortal Kombat is going to be M for mature for sure because of the gore, right? The gore and the gnarliness of the violence. But Street Fighter is still a violent game. It has use of alcohol and tobacco, violence. It's got, you know, all this risque stuff in it too. So it still seems a little bit weird. But there is something that definitely sets Stellar Blade apart now that we've read the, you know, impalement, the extent of the violence, right? The extent of the violence. Because in Street Fighter, you don't really get the extent of violence that you would in something like this or like Mortal Kombat. Not that, you know, these are different genres of games, but still just giving an example there. That's interesting. Yo, this is the last thing I want to talk about. Skull and Bones. All right. I talked about it. I've been talking about it. I think that, you know, we've got a limited amount of data here for the reviews so far. We've only got 11 critic reviews. Quadruple A games. That's right. That's right. We're into the quadruple A game experience, guys. You know? Gotta love it. Yeah, so here's your link for the reference to that. Quadruple A games. So Ubi's CEO is it Yves Guillemot? However he pronounces his name. It referenced this game as requiring it needed to have a $70 price tag because it's a quadruple A game, right? And it was obvious this game was going to be pretty mediocre at best, right? Don't you have quintuple A phones? Right? And this is obviously a game as a service. So as we've seen with many other games of recent, whether you want to talk about Suicide Squad or even I'll bring up Exo Primal, something that I was talking about earlier today in the news segment. We're talking about games as a service that honestly these games should be something at a lower price point, if not closer to free to play, with the amount of monetization in them and everything. But they're not. They release them at AAA price tags, and then they expect people to still pay even more money for the gross monetization within, whether it be cosmetics or battle passes or more DLC that comes out 2 months after the game releases. I mean, you name it. It's just disgusting. It never stops. And then you've got the article that came out right before the release of Skull and Bones, where I just linked. We talked about it, and the CEO of Ubi wants to call Skull and Bones a quadruple A game, and it deserves a $70 price tag. And I mean, this game obviously has had a terribly, terribly brutal development process. It was in development for 11 years. An 11-year development process, that's incredibly long. And honestly, a game that has been developed for 11 years should be phenomenal. If it's had that much, dedication to it, a game of 11 years of development should be something outstanding. And instead, we knew what this would be. The development of Skull and Bones has been very tumultuous. It's had a very rough development process. The project's been riddled with issues and plagued with close to 10 delays. And this was something that was very, very easy for me to advise people to stay away from until it released, and you could see what reviews were saying. And early reviews are right on par with what I expected. Very mediocre at best. It's 64, so I don't know. This is the thing. Ubi, and I'll give Ubi props. I think that they did a good job again. Like I said earlier, I think they've done a good job recently with getting Assassin's Creed back to its roots, even though Assassin's Creed is still just what everybody's always seen in Assassin's Creed. They're not evolving that or anything, but I think it was good for them to get back to the roots of something closer to what people enjoyed about the game in the first place, rather than what it had evolved into, like what Valhalla was, which was nigh unbeatable because it was just too long and massive. You know, there was just too much. But also with something like the new Prince of Persia game, I think that was a good play by them. I think they did a good job with it. I would have liked to have seen it be a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, but I still think it was a good play for bringing Prince of Persia back. I love, you know, that's my wheelhouse. I love Metroidvanias, and I haven't played it yet, but I do think that was a smart play. But most of what Ubi does anymore is very basic. It's very, you know, worn out. They're not most of the time very good at being inventive. They don't do a great job at, you know, bringing new stuff to the table for us as consumers, you know. And so am I surprised at Skull and Bones being less than stellar so far in reviews? No, absolutely not. That's why I was advising people to be very careful here. You know, don't get caught up in the buyer's remorse that you would potentially have from pre-ordering and you know, or buying this on release. I didn't expect it to be worth, you know. So here we are. We'll try to pay attention and see how it you know, the reviews go as we move forward. But I didn't expect much from this, really. Yeah. Oh man, you know what time it is? Stretch time. We're gonna play a little bit more Stardew Valley today. Again, I've only got probably about 3 hours of gameplay in me because it is the weekend. My daughter has an event going on today that I have to stop the stream a little bit early for today so that we can attend that. We've got family coming in for it and stuff too. So it's weekends can be like that sometimes. So I do apologize in advance. I try to go 8 to 9 hours every day, but sometimes on the weekends with just life stuff, it can maybe get cut short a little bit, and that's what today's going to be. So we got things going on family wise. My daughter's got some stuff that we're going to go attend, and we're going to spend some time with family and stuff. So hopefully you understand, but we will get some gaming in. We're going to play Stardew Valley. Yes, it is. Yep, she's got a performance today. So we're going to go play some Stardew Valley with True and Ferret and Tinwin. Man, we'll continue our gameplay from yesterday. I had a blast, dude, and I'm excited to play some more. So we're going to have some more fun today. And thanks to everybody for the news segment this morning. As always, it's a blast. Love doing this together and trying to just promote a healthier industry all the way around. If anybody's hanging out and you're not familiar with what we do, or you might be seeing this as a VOD later on, this is the way we start off all of our streams. 6 days a week, every day but Wednesday, we're live, and we start off with video gaming news, trying to promote a healthier industry for us as video gaming enthusiasts and consumers. You know, to try to dive into staying, you know, anything that keeps us current as far as what the video game industry is having to offer us, you know. And so after we do that, as we're about to do right now, we kind of move on to playing games for the rest of the day. So if you're enjoying the content, then come hang out with us when we are live. We've got an amazing community of people here that obviously enjoy video games. That's what brings us together. But always trying to continue to cultivate and promote a community here that is about taking care of one another, being civil about things, but being, you know, also being void of negativity and toxicity, and just spreading good vibes and being a place where we can count on each other to always lift one another up. You know, be a shoulder for people when people need it, and just be a place where people know they can come and be safe and welcome and included in no matter what, you know, as long as you're good peoples, you know. So if you can dig that, come be a part of what we do when we're live. We're always happy to have new members and always looking forward to having good people become part of what we do here. So other than that, man, happy Saturday. I hope everybody's weekend's going fantastic, and just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, And I'm going to run us an outro real quick. As soon as it's over, I will be right back up here on the screen, and we will start doing some gaming stuff, all right? I'll be right back.